girlies, it's Carmen. Welcome back to the podcast. So I said this like a few episodes ago, but I kind of realized that I never say my name, which I mean, if you're listening to these out of order, might be helpful to know. So I'm Carmen, in case you didn't know. And yeah, we're talking all about anxiety today, just like how I've been feeling going back to in-person learning, and just some tips for how you guys can feel less anxious, less stressed out, maybe less just nervous in general, and some good like practices, activities, things you can do to feel better. So stay tuned. But let's just first get into the best and worst of the week. So I have two things for the best of my week. One's like a podcast related thing, and then the other one's like a personal thing. So I'll just start out with the personal. So like I said, I went back to in-person learning on Monday, which was super exciting, but also a little scary, a little like nerve-wracking, I guess. But the really good thing was that I got to see all my friends, and I was online all first semester, so I didn't see anybody. So it was really nice to see them and to be in the class and to see all my teachers. So that was fun and made my week. And then for my podcast thing, just that we have a lot of new people, a bigger fam, so that's always fun. And yeah, one of my videos on TikTok went like not viral, but has like 30,000 likes, which is kind of cool. So we're almost at 5,000 followers on TikTok, which I mean is pretty awesome. And then on Spotify, I think I checked earlier and it was like 2,000 people have subscribed. So that's really cool. I don't know how to check on Apple Podcasts. But yeah, thank you guys a lot. That's so awesome. And then, yeah, we're getting up to 10,000 plays. So that's also cool. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all your support. It's made my week. Really, all your sweet messages. Thank you so much. But now moving on to the worst of the week. Just that the week before and then like the start of this week, I haven't really been feeling my best. I was really anxious, pretty like on edge, I would guess. And that was mostly just because like of anticipation of going back to school, having not been there for half the year. And then just like me working myself up, me making myself super nervous. So that wasn't very fun. But yeah, just like feeling not the best was like the worst of my week. But I mean, as the week went on, it got kind of better. But I'm just happy to be recording this episode. It's a Friday afternoon. I had school. I've already done most of my homework. I'm just trying to get some podcast things done for the rest of this week and then starting next week. So that's really exciting. But yeah, today, as I've already said, I just want to talk about like going back to school, how I've been feeling, what you can do to feel less anxious, nervous, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, but before we get into that, let's do the quote of the week. So this one is another book quote because I don't know, it was cute and I like it. But it is okay, just like a warning. It's like kind of cringy, but I mean, aren't all quotes, whatever, I'll read it. Okay. Breathe, darling. This is just a chapter. It's not your whole story. So I really like this because I think it relates to like anxiety and feeling nervous and really overwhelmed. Just like how things that might seem so overwhelming in the moment really aren't like a big picture thing. They're just something little that won't matter like in a few years or even maybe like next week. And I just think that's always good to keep in mind. I mean, of course, it's so hard in the moment to think that this doesn't matter when it's like your whole world and everything that's like everything you're doing is focusing on that one moment, But I just think this is important to remember. It's just a chapter and not the whole story. Things change and things may not be as important in the long run. Not saying they aren't important, but just like long term. And yeah, really like that quote. Found it on Pinterest, obviously, because what else would I be doing? Literally, me finding all my quotes like 5 minutes before I'm recording. That's pretty much how this goes. But don't forget to leave a review, subscribe, follow, do all the things. You already know the drill. I say this in every episode in case you didn't know, I guess. But yeah, make sure you do that. Get on that. You want to stay updated whenever I post. Follow on Instagram, on TikTok, at the Girly Girl Podcast. You know the drill. But before we get into it, I'm going to take a quick water break and then I'll be right back. Are you interested in starting a podcast but don't know where to begin? I've been there too. Just use Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Not to mention, it's free. And who doesn't love free stuff? As teenagers, we need something that is easy to use and accessible. That's why Anchor is everything you need to start a podcast. Anchor will distribute your amazing pod to all the best podcasting platforms. Download the free Anchor app now or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm to get started. And I'm back. Okay, so first I just want to talk about like going back to school, just like this week in general, but I'll do a little background first. So in case you haven't listened to my other episodes, then I'll just give you like the gist of it. But so I was doing online school all first semester because my school had an option where they were doing all online or all in person at the same time. So I chose online because my mom didn't want me going into in person, yada, 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 whatever. So on Monday, I went back in person for the first time, and literally the 5 days before, for every day for like 5 days in a row leading up to this, I felt like so sick. Like I felt so nauseous. My stomach hurt. I just felt horrible. I had a headache. And I was just like dreading it. Like I knew once I got there and got into school that everything would be okay. And of course it was, but like always the moment leading up to it is the worst for me, I guess. And so literally, I think on Monday, Tuesday, and like Wednesday, I had to take medicine for nausea because I really didn't want to throw up because I just felt so bad. But that helped. But of course, once I got there, everything was fine. It was really amazing seeing everybody. All my classes were fine. Nothing was that different. I mean, I was just really like worried about going back to school just since I'm a junior. So, juniors are supposed to know how to do things. But I was going into something new where they changed a lot of the rules. But I just asked a bunch of my friends a bunch of questions, teachers, and that really helped me out. I always feel less anxious when I know more about something. So asking these questions really helped. But now that it's Friday, my first week back to in-person was a success. Wearing the mask didn't really bother me. I mean, I really didn't notice it. But then something that was really annoying and did really bother me was my school has like plexiglass in between seats at a desk, which I swear do absolutely nothing, But, like, you literally can't hear anything. Like, the person you're sitting less than, like, a foot away from, you can't hear shit. You can't hear anything they're saying. And that was super annoying. But other than that, this week was really good. I did most of my homework in study hall. I just did some Spanish. And then I just have to do, like, some more Spanish later. And then I have to do some English homework. But first week was a success. It was really good. But just like, even though it was good, I was still not feeling my best leading up to it. And as I said, like at the beginning of the week, even today, really, I just felt really anxious. I felt nauseous, just like really sick. Not like corona, but like, I just felt sick. I had a headache. I felt like woozy. I couldn't eat. If I looked at food, I felt sick. I literally felt like a pregnant lady, Do you ever have those times when, like, you're standing in the shower and it's, like, right after dinner or something, so you look a little bloated and you look down and you can't see your feet and you're just like, oh. You're like, am I pregnant? Does anyone else? You're like, I know I'm not, but what if I am? Me saying this and then literally being on my period, fun times. But just, like, what was I even talking about? I don't know. But I would also feel like that I couldn't really eat just because I would be so anxious. and just the thought of food made me feel sick. So I wasn't really eating that much this week. I mean, always after school I would like eat a bunch, but when I was at school I couldn't really like eat lunch just because I felt like kind of sick, you know? But that wasn't very fun. But anti-nausea medicine coming in for the win. That shit slaps, okay? Um, my dad's a doctor, so he literally just has like a bunch of random pills in his bathroom. That sounds really bad. I'm not a drug addict, guys. He gave it to me. I did not take it. Okay. Thank you. But my dad's a doctor, so he just has a bunch of medicine, so I just got it. And also, these are just like how I've been feeling. Not saying that I like have anxiety, because I've never been diagnosed with anxiety or any other mental illnesses. But I mean, I think it's normal for anyone at times to feel like anxious because of a situation. I know every year when I go back to school, even when it's like in August, like at the start of a new year, I just feel really anxious, or just like little things like going on a date or seeing friends, just like or taking a test. I mean, not really a test, because I know I'll do fine on tests, but I know people have like test anxiety. But like, I don't think I have like medical anxiety or whatever, just like anxious feelings. That's what this is for. But also if you have like real anxiety, I don't know, if you're just feeling not your best. And also, this is just how I'm feeling. I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm not trying to force anything onto you. I'm just trying to share how I've been feeling, and then also I'm gonna give my tips that have helped me or that I think would be helpful for you. Not saying you have to do anything I say, but just like, you know. And also, I'm not a licensed psychiatrist, so all my tips and advice is just from personal experience. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. What works for me may not work for you. This is just what I've been doing and what I found to be helpful. Okay, now into some tips that you can do to make you feel less anxious, to get rid of some nervous feelings, anxious feelings, whatever, overwhelm, stuff like that. Okay, so what I did when it was like really bad at the beginning of the week was that I tried to separate my anxiety and my anxious, like, cuckoo thoughts from myself, okay? So, like, I separated it from myself. This is going to sound really stupid, but I promise it was helpful, okay? Please don't, like, attack me and make fun of me. But, so I separated my anxiety from myself, right? And I gave it a name just so I can, like, talk. You know how you can, like, talk to yourself in your head? I was, like, talking to it in my head so I could separate it from myself. But anyway, so named it Vince, okay? Because could not think of a short girl name, and I don't know why Vince, don't ask me, but I named it Vince, okay? Cool dude. Not really. We don't like Vince. So this was like, I did this on Monday or something, but in my head, whenever I felt anxious, I would just be like, oh, this is just what Vince is thinking. Vince is not you. Vince wants you to be overwhelmed, but all you're doing is reading. Like, I remember one night I felt super anxious. I was in my bed. I couldn't fall asleep. And I said, Vince. This literally sounds so stupid as I'm saying this, but I promise it works. I said, Vince, I'm reading. There's nothing to be worried about. I'm not doing anything that needs to make me worried. And then, like, that helped. So just, like, separating it from yourself is, good rule of thumb. If you can do that, you can name it. You don't have to, but just so that you can realize that this is not just like you, and that you have the power to control your own thoughts, and you have the power to control like what's happening. Because I know I always feel better when I'm in control, because as I've said, I feel more comfortable knowing what's going to happen, and to, like, I guess being in charge and leading things. So separating it from myself is super helpful. And yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but I promise you it'll help. Another thing that I've been doing is this like a present moment exercise. So I think I saw this like in a YouTube video. I don't remember. It's probably called something, but I don't know. But pretty much it's just like you using all your five senses and becoming aware. So you're gonna like sit, keep your eyes open, and you're gonna find like a few things you can see, a few things you can like smell, what's another, hear, taste, I guess. Okay, so for example, so I'm sitting at my desk recording an episode right now, right? So I'm looking at my desk, so I'm going to say, I see my desk, I see my laptop, I see my microphone, I can hear my family yelling downstairs, I can hear myself talking, I don't smell anything. What's another sense? Did I do them all? Oh, taste. I can taste mint from my gum earlier. Just like something like that is helpful because it'll help you become aware and make you realize that like what you're worrying about is in the future and it hasn't happened yet. And your worrying is not going to do anything to make anything better. I promise you. No matter how much you worry, you're not making anything better. If anything, you're making it worse. And you're going to like just like make it worse for yourself. I'm sorry, I really can't speak today. I've had such a long day. Also, literally, oh my god, this was so awkward. So yesterday, my friend and I went out to lunch, but since we both can't really drive, I mean, I'm 17 and I can't drive. I could have gotten my restricted in July, but I didn't because I don't know. But what was I saying? So we walked somewhere because our school is downtown, but we walked to this like smoothie bowl place. We walked in, the lady, she literally just said, she was like, sorry if I'm slow. I've had such a long day. I'm so tired. And she kept like telling us that. It's like, I'm sorry, like, lady, I really just want my smoothie bowl, please. But she was like, I'm so sorry, guys. But how is this? It's not related, okay? Just sharing my story. But I got a really good smoothie bowl. It was, they call it like a blue magic bowl. It has like pineapple. Okay, well, pretty much the main thing is like pineapple in it. Of course, there's like bananas and other stuff. And then there's like this blue powder that makes it blue. I'm trying to think of the shade of blue. Like, think of like a highlighter. Not a highlighter. I don't know, like the icon of your text blue, kind of, you know? But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the present moment exercise. You can also do like a breathing exercise. Just focus on your breathing. This helps. I really like to do this when I'm like in the car on the way to school just because that always makes me feel anxious. Just like it's helpful if you're in your head, you're saying like breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, you know? Just like something like that is helpful so you can like kind of guide yourself. Also, if you wanted to, you could get like an app and listen to one of those guided meditations. Those are good. If you need help falling asleep, those are really helpful. Or like YouTube videos, you can do that. Just like becoming aware of the present moment. Sound like a meditation teacher. But becoming aware of the present moment is so helpful because once you realize like that you're here right now, that you're not in this other place that you're so worried about, that'll help because I mean, what I like to do is, so in the morning when I'm getting ready, if I'm like super anxious about school, maybe I have like a test later in the day or just like something going on, I'm worried about, I don't know, whatever. It's like when I'm brushing my teeth, I just like to say things that I am doing. So, I mean, you can say it out loud or you can say it in your head, but just like, I am brushing my teeth. I am brushing my hair. I am washing my face. You know, just like things that you're doing and then end it with like, there's nothing to worry about. So, for example, I'm brushing my teeth. There's nothing to worry about. We do this every day. There's nothing to worry about. And that's super helpful because it just really like, I guess, centers you in a way. And it's like without having to do like a full-on meditation or something. But yeah, just like becoming aware of the present moment is always good, and then that'll help you out. But you can also like some more formal things if you want something that'll like you can do for a few minutes. Maybe you want to add it into a routine, or something, like add it into your morning routine, night routine, whatever. You can do yoga, meditation, journaling. I really like doing yoga. I mean, I was really good and consistent at it in the spring. I kind of have fallen off that, but when I was doing it, I noticed that I had really good mental clarity and that I just felt better. I mean, and as someone who doesn't like exercise, yoga was super helpful, and it was also like kind of fun. So, you know, that's also a plus. And then meditation is good just to like center yourself, again, present moment, but it takes a little bit of discipline. I mean, I feel like I've talked about this in another episode, but like you have to like to build a tolerance to it, like alcohol, you know, or like, you know how like people say like you need a tolerance to beer so you like it, or not like a tolerance, what is the word? I don't know, but just like you need to build it up, like how you wouldn't go from never reading in your entire life to reading a college level book. Like you need to build it up, like do a few minutes at a time. I mean, that might, you're like, oh my god, Carmen, like that's so short, that's not going to take any time at all. But try doing like 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you can build your way up. But like, I can't remember if I talked about this. I mean, I probably have. I'm sorry if I'm repeating stuff, but literally over the summer I tried to get into meditation, right? And the first time I tried doing 15 minutes. Okay, if you've ever just like sat by yourself in silence for 15 minutes, your eyes closed, it's painfully long. So I would suggest starting with something shorter. And if you don't have like that much time to do that, just do like a few deep breaths. That always helps. That's really good, like before a presentation or something. These are just some things that aren't like if you have like diagnosed anxiety. Obviously, if you have like, if you've been diagnosed with anxiety, you're probably gonna need to maybe, I don't know, take some medicine or talk to a therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever. But these are just like, I'm given a range of things related to anxiety. There's different levels. I mean, some people do have it worse. Not that it's like a competition. Just like, these are just a bunch of different things that you can try. But also, journaling is super helpful. I used to be really into journaling. I actually did write a journal. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, so like Sunday night, I wrote a journal entry about how I was feeling, and that really helped me, just because, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable talking about it with your family or any of your friends, journaling can help, and it really like takes the pressure away from you from having to think about it all the time, so that it can just be on the page. And I mean, you don't have to read it if you don't want to. I mean, of course you can, to like really, I guess, try to understand your emotions, but I think journaling is always helpful, especially if you need to like clear your mind, or need to go to sleep and want to stop just like thinking, because you know, like those nights when your thoughts are just like circling and you're just thinking about the same thing over and over again, you know. But journaling, do that. So next one, not sure how great this is for you, but distract yourself. Okay, we're gonna try to direct our thoughts to different things. We're gonna try to focus on different things. So we're just gonna use the example of me in school, because that's easy and easy to remember and can be a consistent example throughout the thing. But distracting yourself is good. Let's say you are in the car on the way to school, you're worried about going to school. Okay, this is just my example. This is not just like the only example, you know. Best thing, distract yourself. If there's someone else in the car, talk to them. Singing to the music. Go on your phone. Think about things that are happening during the day. I really like listening to actual words. I mean, I feel like songs, it's easy to kind of zone out and like not focus on the song and like just go back to your thoughts. So I like to listen to things with words. I mean, you can listen to my podcast, the news, if that makes you anxious. Maybe not though. But just like podcasts are good. Doesn't have to be mine. But just like something with words. Maybe you could talk to someone on the phone, just like a friend. Try doing an activity. Let's say it's the day before you have a big presentation. Try to make yourself busy. Do different things. Watch a movie. Watch TV. Bake something. Try some yoga. Journal. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Hang out with friends. Whatever. Just find like things to distract yourself so you don't just have to focus only on what's making you anxious. Because if you have nothing else to think about, then you're obviously just gonna like spiral and just keep thinking about the same thing, and that's not productive and that's not helpful for you or anyone, and you're just gonna feel really bad. So I don't suggest doing that. And the next thing, kind of related to that, but just to like focus on the good things, there's a quote that I really like. The girls from the Seriously Not Serious podcast say it like all the time. I think it's, I don't remember if it's Gabby or Julia, but one of them, their favorite quote is like, focus on the good and the good gets better. And I really like that quote too. And so I just think focusing on like the good parts about what you're doing, like, for me, going back into school, it made me feel better to focus on like being able to see my friends, being able to like get out of my house, just like little things, because I think when we get so worked up on our thoughts and everything that's going to go wrong, we kind of forget like the good things that come with it. And once you start thinking about the good things, you can just focus on that. I mean, I know the morning before I went to school, I just kept saying, okay, I get to see so-and-so and so-and-so. I get to see them. Everything's going to be okay. I'm just going to go see my friends. It's fine. That's good. I get to leave the house. And just like focusing on the good parts of those things are helpful. And I really suggest that you do that. And I promise you, it'll like distract you from your other thoughts. You can even make, if you wanted to, you could write it out. Maybe try doing like a little journaling exercise, writing out like something you're anxious about, why you're worried about this event, interaction, I don't know, something, right? Why you're anxious, maybe, and then like everything that could go right, everything you're excited about, and then you could also like, I guess, write things that you think, probably not things that'll go wrong, because that might not end the best. Just like things that you're worried about, and then like have reasons. So then you can look back on it and see, maybe I was worried about this, but I don't really have a good reason to be worried about it. So there's no point in really working myself up. And I mean, obviously it's easy for me to say, like, just don't be overwhelmed. Literally, one of my siblings told me, they were like, Carmen, just don't worry. Just don't worry and it'll be fine. I was like, that's like telling someone who's sad and crying their eyes out, oh, it's okay. Just don't be sad. Like, you can't tell people that. But I know it's hard and it's easier said than done. But, yeah, you got this, and I promise you focusing on the good things will make it better. I mean, probably not make it all go away, but anything to make it better always helps and will be good. Next thing is that if you're thinking you might have more serious anxiety or just like worried about mental health things, maybe you've had someone else say they're worried for you or worried about you, you should probably go to the doctor. And there's absolutely no shame in going to see a therapist or anyone specialized in mental health. And this is really good and super healthy. And also, I feel like a lot of people do go. I mean, I've never personally seen a therapist, but lots of people in my family do. I have lots of friends that do, and they all say how great it is. So that'll help. And also, if they think you're really struggling or whatever, they might prescribe you medicine, which could help. And so just reaching out to someone, talking to your parents and telling them like, hey, I think I have a problem, or hey, I'm struggling with this. I would really like to see a doctor to see if I'm okay or to see if this is normal. And that'll be good. And of course, this takes like a little leap of faith and some trust with your parents, but I think it'll be really good if you aren't feeling your best, you aren't feeling very comfortable, and even if you don't think you have like like anxiety. I mean, it's always good to talk to someone to talk about how you're feeling. I mean, you can always just talk to like friends or families and share your feelings. But I mean, of course, someone who's like specialized in this field or whatever, they're probably going to be really helpful for that and give you some good tips and maybe prescribe you medicine, or just like the best thing is just like letting you talk, letting you verbally explain how you're feeling, and I think that'll be good. But yeah, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, talk to friends, family, share your feelings. I'm sure you have it probably at least one friend or one family member that can relate. I know there's a lot of people in my family who struggle with depression, and they all relate to that, I guess. But like, there's probably always going to be someone you can talk to, and even if they aren't struggling with the same thing, it's always nice just to have someone to sit there and listen. I mean, that's literally like what a therapist is doing. They're sitting there and listening. You're paying someone to listen to you, but this is just like for free and without like education on it. But your friends know you, your family knows you, so if you feel confident or comfortable enough, share your feelings. I know this can be super scary and probably overwhelming, but in my own personal experience, it has always been best to be honest with my family members, especially my parents. Be honest with them, share my true feelings, let them know how I'm feeling, and this always turns out a lot better than like keeping things in, bottling things up. That's one thing I think you really should not do. If you're feeling anxious, bottling up any feeling is not going to go well. And especially if you get like physical symptoms of anxiety, it's just going to make things worse. It's always best to talk to anyone, someone, write it down. If you want to talk but not to a person, you can record voice memos on your phone, record videos, delete them later, sit in your closet and talk. I don't know, talk in the shower or whatever. Go outside and scream. Maybe not if you live in a populated neighborhood, but like if you're in nature, just scream, just like things release your negative energy. I sound like my mom. Okay, this is a little off topic, but it's quite. My mom is really into like energy and energy healing and like chakras and stuff. So that's why I was saying that, just like how you need to release your negative energy, and like you don't want to bottle it up because then you're gonna like implode or whatever. Not like literally, but you know what I mean. It's just gonna boil over and then be a big mess when you could have just dealt with it in a more manageable way and little bits at a time, and that's always good and helpful. Those are my tips. But don't forget to leave a review, subscribe, follow, do all the things. That's your second reminder in case you didn't do it the first time. But if you didn't, then what are you doing? Literally just like do it right now. You can literally do it while you're listening. Okay, do it. I know you guys haven't done it, so do it for real this time, for realsies. Okay, but just remember, these are just like a few little reminders that it's okay to not be okay. I'm literally gonna sound like this sounds so cheesy, but I swear I'm being genuine and I actually believe everything I'm saying. But it's okay to not be okay. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be happy all the time. I mean, none of us are like that, no matter what anyone portrays on social media. I mean, like, I know I like to spread like happy, good vibes on social media. That doesn't mean I'm happy all the time. I mean, of course, if you listen to this whole episode, you know I haven't really had the best week. I mean, like, personally, maybe like with podcast related, it's been pretty good, but not like personally, you know. Just, it's okay not to be okay. You don't need to be perfect. There's not a certain expectation you need to, or there's not an expectation for how you need to feel. And I think anything you're feeling is okay, and that your feelings are valid, and that if you want help, seek help, reach out. I mean, you can talk to a school counselor, friends, family, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever. I know there's also like, if you Google something, I don't remember what it's called. Like, you can like text people and they'll help you. You can do call centers, and yeah, but just reaching out for help is always helpful, and there's no shame in that. I think it actually shows you how mature you really are if you feel comfortable reaching out for help, even if you're not comfortable, okay? I'm not comfortable with a lot of things that I have to do, but I know that it'll be good for me and that it'll make me feel better. But just like, it shows you that you're mature and that you're willing to do what is best for you. And I think that just shows like how much, I don't know, just like maturity and strength. It shows the strength that you have, and even if you feel like you're worse, like you're not special, like you're not great, I think being able to reach out for help and acknowledging like, hey, I'm not okay and I don't feel great and I need help, I think that is really powerful in itself, and super important if you're not feeling your best, obviously. And also remember that it'll get better. Promise you, however you're feeling right now, it's not going to be how it feels forever. I mean, if you just remember the quote from the beginning of the episode, just that this is just a chapter, it's not the whole story. I mean, that really applies to this, that what you're going through right now is not going to be how things are forever. It's just like a single chapter or something, or maybe a few chapters, but it'll always get better. Things pretty much always improve. Things are constantly changing. I mean, I remember in my freshman history class, my teacher had this saying about how the only thing constant is change. Just like how things are always going to be changing, so your circumstances are going to change. How you feel is going to change. How you're doing mentally is gonna change. I mean, it's not a straight path to getting better. I mean, at times it's gonna be worse, at times it's gonna be better. It's all just about growth and just being really honest with yourself and checking in, like, hey, how am I doing? How am I doing this week? That's why, I mean, I have really loved journaling, or also if you're religious, praying. That's good. I mean, personally, I'm not a religious person, but I, like, when I'm feeling my worst, I do tend to, like, pray, just, like, feel, I don't know, it makes me feel better. I'm literally not religious at all, please. If you're religious, please don't try, I don't know. I don't want to talk about religious things. I mean, okay, this is a little tangent, but I believe that there's a higher power, but not necessarily in one specific religion, okay? I don't really believe in a specific religion. Yeah, okay, that's it. Also, remember that you are loved, you are amazing, you got this, and my DMs are open if you need to chat, if you need anything. I mean, it might take me a little bit to respond, but I will get to you. I will help you out. If you don't feel comfortable talking to me, just know that I'm here for you and that I'll be thinking about you, and that I believe that it'll get better, and that you have the power to change your circumstances and to change how you're feeling. And I think that is really, really powerful, to remember that you are strong. And I know it might not feel like it at times, but you are strong. You are brave. I mean, I feel like all the time you see movies of people and they have to do something really heroic and they're talking and they're like, oh, well, blah, blah, blah is so brave that they can do this and they're not even scared. But I mean, the point of being brave is like being scared and yet still doing it. And I think that just really relates to this, especially for asking for help or just wanting to improve, wanting to change how you're feeling. Because I mean, if you listen to any of my tips, separating your anxiety from yourself, trying to be in the present moment, some breathing exercises, yoga, meditation, journaling, distracting yourself, focusing on the good, going to a doctor, sharing your feelings with others, whatever, all of those take bravery, and all of those need you to take a chance on yourself and need you to want to improve and want things to get better, because or else things are just going to be stagnant and nothing is going to improve. And I mean, we all want to be better. We all want to be our best selves. We want to, or I at least hope you do, but we all have room for improvement. And I think that is really cool, just to think that how we are now is not how we're going to be always. Maybe how we're not going to be in the next week, the next year, the next 5 years, whatever. I think that is really important and really cool too. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We're reaching the end of this episode. This one I think might be a little bit shorter than normal, but I mean, that's okay. It's really action-packed. Got all my good tips out that I hope will help you. I honestly really hope these help. Please let me know if you have any tips. I think I'm going to post an Instagram post this week asking you guys for your tips or maybe sharing mine. I don't know. Got to think about it, because I don't want to say, wait, I'm going to do something and then not do it, because I've done that before. I'm sorry. But make sure to check out all the links in the description of this episode to find my blog, my newsletter, my email address if you want to shoot me an email if you don't have social media. You can also follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. Yeah, love TikTok, at the Girly Girl Podcast if you haven't already. And again, I appreciate all your support on my social medias this week and just the podcast in general. Y'all are so amazing and literally like give me life. Love you guys so much, and I'm honestly so grateful for each and every one of you, and I really hope this episode helped. I just want to make things better for you guys, and let me know if you also have any other episode recommendations. If you want to see something, send me a DM, send me an email, comment on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You can do anything. Just let me know, and I promise I will reach out and consider it, or maybe do it in the future. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, I hope you have an amazing week. Happy Monday, or whatever day you're listening to this. You got this. This week is going to be great, and I believe in you. And remember that you are strong, you are brave, you are powerful, and that you have the power to control your life, your circumstances. Even though you're just a teenager, you got this. I believe in you. Okay? Have an amazing day. Love y'all. Bye.